Track and field is not an easy lifestyle. It is hard. Our work is on the office. We are on the office day by day. We train twice per day, so we have no life whatsoever. So
about just a celebration of this journey and what you guys have done for me, your support, your love.
What a Kingston ending!
for us to come out here day by day and race and to do so well, also to travel on long flights and to compete that well, it's pretty good enough to know that we are successful and we are here to tell the story to everybody else. So
Elaine Thompson-Herah stood before cameras and gave the kind of praise that made headlines around the world. She called Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce her mentor. She described her as an inspiration, a guiding force, a woman who had already walked the road Elaine was trying to follow. For fans, it was powerful, a young champion saluting the queen who paved the way. It looked like unity, respect, and sisterhood all wrapped into one shining moment. But unity in sports, especially at the very top, rarely lasts forever. Because behind the bright smiles, there are rivalries. Behind the admiration, there is pressure. And behind every glowing tribute, there are whispers of what might come next. What if that very moment of respect was the seed of tension? What if the passing of the torch didn't unite, but instead created a silent divide? Tonight, we dive into the untold story of Jamaica's sprint queens. A story of admiration that turned to rivalry, respect that shifted into distance, and unity that came under fire. This isn't just about medals. It's about legacy, pride, and the price of greatness. And what happened next left fans stunned. Back in 2017, Elaine's words about Shelly-Ann Fraser-Pryce made headlines across Jamaica. She described her as a mentor, a role model, and an athlete who had already walked the same path. Elaine said she was guided by Shelly-Ann's journey, inspired by her success, and determined to reach that same level. For many, this was a passing of the torch. The young champion bowing her head in respect to the queen of sprinting. But moments like these carry more weight than most realize. Because when you call someone your mentor, you also invite comparisons. You put yourself directly in their shadow. Fans expect you to live up to their standard. The media frames every victory as proof of the mentor's influence, and every defeat as a sign you fell short. Elaine's praise was genuine, but it added pressure. Pressure to match Shelly-Ann's legacy. Pressure to prove she was not just following footsteps, but ready to create her own. And with every race, the spotlight on their bond grew brighter. But admiration doesn't erase ambition, and ambition often leads to rivalry. So the question became, how long could admiration and competition exist side by side? The answer, as it turned out, was not for long. Jamaica has always spoken of unity in track and field. Athletes wear the same colors, carry the same flag, and stand together on the podium. United we stand, divided we fall isn't just a phrase, it's a belief. But in the world of sprinting, unity is fragile. The truth is simple. Only one athlete can cross the finish line first. Only one can be crowned the fastest. And that hunger for glory has a way of turning friends into rivals. Elaine once said unity was everything. She believed Jamaica could only stay dominant if its athletes stood together. But she also warned that ego, corruption, and ambition could destroy it all. And those words carried weight. Because when athletes chase greatness, they're not just fighting competitors, they're fighting teammates, expectations, and even themselves. To the world, Elaine and Shelly-Ann looked united. But unity on the surface doesn't always mean unity behind the scenes. And when cracks began to appear, they weren't small, they were deep. The very foundation of Jamaica's sprinting dynasty seemed at risk. And fans started asking the question nobody wanted to face. Was unity just an illusion? The next chapter of this story would give us a painful answer. From the outside, sprinting looks glamorous. Gold medals, flashing cameras, roaring crowds. But Elaine revealed a darker side. She explained that athletes train twice a day every day, leaving no time for a normal life. She spoke of long flights, endless travel, exhaustion that never goes away. "We have no life," she admitted bluntly. Those words cut deep. For 10 seconds of glory, these athletes give up years of comfort, family, and freedom. They sacrifice birthdays, relationships, and sometimes even their health. Fans cheer the victories but rarely see the price. For Elaine, the sacrifices were constant. The endless training, the pressure to perform, the toll of pushing a body to its limits every single day. To most people, sprinting is entertainment. To Elaine, it was survival, a lifestyle so demanding that it reshaped her identity. She wasn't just competing against rivals on the track. She was competing against fatigue, loneliness, and doubt. Behind every medal was pain. Behind every smile was struggle. And as the struggles grew, so did the cracks in her relationships. Because sacrifice doesn't just test your body, it tests your bonds. And those bonds were about to face their biggest challenge yet. Elaine once made a statement that shocked many fans. She said athletes are not just products of their environment. They are products of their thoughts, their struggles, their battles within. It was a revealing comment, because Elaine was letting the world see that her fight wasn't just physical, it was mental. Every day she faced the weight of expectations, comparisons to Shelly-Ann, questions about her health, criticism about her attitude. And when it all became too much, she built walls. She pulled away. To some, it looked like arrogance. To others, it seemed like pride. But in truth, it was defense. A shield against the constant pressure of carrying a nation's hopes. Elaine wasn't shutting people out because she didn't care. She was shutting them out because she couldn't carry anymore. That kind of mental strain isolates you. It makes you harder, colder, and slowly it changes how people see you. Fans began to misunderstand her, and relationships that once seemed unshakable began to weaken. The armor that kept Elaine standing also created distance, and that distance would soon have consequences nobody could ignore. For years, fans believed in a fairy tale. Shelly-Ann and Elaine, mentor and protege, sisters on the track. But reality was more complicated. Over time, something shifted. The warmth faded, the smiles grew tighter. The public praise turned into silence. And silence often says more than words. Whispers spread. Were they still close? Had rivalry replaced friendship? Nobody could say for sure, but one fact stood out. The bond was not the same. And in sprinting, nothing stays hidden for long. Every interview, every race, every headline hinted at a change. For Jamaica, it was heartbreaking. The nation wanted to believe its queens were united. Instead, it felt like something precious had been lost. Fans were left asking what went wrong. Was it misunderstandings, competition, or simply the harsh reality of being at the top? Whatever the reason, the fracture was real. And once a bond is broken, it is never easy to repair. But could it still be fixed? Or had the moment for reconciliation already slipped away? That was the question on every fan's mind. And the answer was far from simple. Despite the tension, one dream has never died: seeing Elaine and Shelly-Ann reunited. Fans still imagine the moment. The two sprint queens standing together again, not as rivals, but as sisters. It would be history. It would be healing. It would be the ultimate symbol of unity. But reconciliation requires more than hope. It requires forgiveness, trust, humility.